What if the person you ignored this morning was secretly deciding your future? Stay with this story until the end, because what this millionaire father did to test his daughter-in-law will change how you see kindness forever. And if stories like this touch your heart, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us bring you more powerful stories that matter. Everyone in the city knew the name Armin Qureshi. Billionaire industrialist, self-made, ruthless in business. Headlines called him the Iron Mind. But no one ever spoke about the one thing that kept him awake at night, his only son's marriage. Since his wife's death years ago, Armin had built empires, but he had failed at raising a family that valued people over money. His son, Samir, had grown up in privilege, surrounded by servants, drivers, and silence. And when Samir married Layla, a beautiful, educated woman from a respectable family, Armin hoped, quietly, that she would bring warmth into their cold mansion. At first, Layla tried. She cooked, she smiled, she asked about Armin's health. But slowly, something changed. Power does strange things when it enters a person's hands. Once Layla realized the scale of the wealth she had married into, her tone shifted. She spoke sharply to the staff. She complained about smells when the cleaners passed. She stopped greeting the guards by name. Samir noticed, but he stayed quiet. Comfort has a way of muting conscience. Armin watched everything. He said nothing. Not because he didn't care, but because he believed people reveal their truest selves when they think no one important is watching. One evening, while standing at the mansion's balcony, Armin saw a garbage truck stop outside the gate. A woman stepped down, her back bent, her hands gloved and cracked. She worked silently, lifting heavy bags as luxury cars passed her by without slowing. No one noticed her, not even the guards. Something stirred in Armin's chest. An idea, dangerous and brilliant, took shape. The next morning, the billionaire disappeared. In his place appeared an elderly woman named Bibi Rahima. She wore faded clothes, a scarf loosely covering her hair, her face darkened with dust and age lines drawn carefully by a professional makeup artist sworn to secrecy. Armin traded his tailored suits for the uniform of a municipal garbage collector. For the first time in decades, he stood in line with workers who were invisible to society. When the truck reached his own mansion, no one recognized him. Bibi Rahima struggled deliberately as she dragged a heavy bag toward the gate. Layla stepped out just then, phone pressed to her ear, laughing. The smell reached her nose. Her face twisted in disgust. "Can you hurry up?" Layla snapped, covering her mouth. "This is a residential area. Have some decency." Bibi Rahima looked up slowly. Her eyes, Armin's eyes, searched Layla's face. "I'm sorry, Betty," she said softly. "The bag is very heavy." Layla rolled her eyes. "That's your job. And don't stand so close to the gate. You're making the place look dirty." Samir watched from inside but said nothing. The silence hurt Armin more than the insult. Days passed. Armin continued working routes that passed near his home, near places his family visited. Each day, he tested them, not with words, but with presence. At a supermarket, Layla refused to let Bibi Rahima sit on a bench nearby. At a restaurant, she complained to the manager that the garbage woman outside was ruining the view. Once, Bibi Rahima dropped a bag near the mansion, and trash spilled onto the road. Layla shouted from the balcony, humiliating her in front of neighbors. Only one person showed kindness. A young maid named Sana quietly brought water one afternoon. "You look tired," she whispered. "Please drink." Armin's hands trembled as he took the bottle. He had paid Sana's salary for years, and never once knew her name until that moment. The final test came on a rainy night. Bibi Rahima slipped near the gate and fell hard, trash soaking her clothes. She cried out, not loudly, just enough to be heard. Samir looked through the window, hesitated, then turned away. Layla laughed. "Drama," she said. "These people exaggerate for sympathy." Something inside Armin broke. The next morning, Armin returned, not as Bibi Rahima, but as himself. The mansion was silent as staff lined up, confused. Samir and Layla entered the hall and froze. Armin stood there, eyes calm, voice steady. "I have a story to tell you," he said. He described the garbage woman, the insults, the fall, the water bottle. With every word, Layla's face drained of color. Samir's head dropped. "I wasn't testing how you treat wealth," Armin said quietly. I was testing how you treat worth. Layla tried to speak. Father, I didn't know. That is the point, Armin interrupted. Kindness that depends on status is not kindness. It is performance. That day, Armin rewrote his will. Not out of anger, but clarity. A large portion of his wealth was placed into trusts for worker welfare, education for sanitation staff, and housing for the invisible people who kept the city alive. Samir remained his son, but privilege now came with responsibility. As for Layla, Armin gave her a choice: unlearn the arrogance, or live without the empire she thought defined her. Months later, the mansion changed. Staff were greeted by name. Garbage collectors were offered water. Layla, humbled and shaken, began volunteering at sanitation shelters, not for cameras but in silence. Whether she changed completely, only time would tell. But Armin knew one thing for sure. You don't learn who someone truly is by how they treat the powerful. You learn it by how they treat those they believe don't matter. If this story moved you, let it remind you, every person you pass today carries a story, a struggle, and a dignity that deserves respect. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs this reminder. Because sometimes, the greatest tests in life arrive disguised as the people we overlook.